Hi, I'm Susan Solovic, the small business expert. And you may not know this, but August is National Make a Will Month. Now, you know I'm not a personal finance expert, so I'm not going to actually be talking to you about creating your will. What I am going to talk to you, though, is to tell you that as a successful business owner, you need a will for your business. Well, not an actual will of sorts, but you need an exit strategy. Here's the thing. Your business, if you're doing well, is really probably one of your biggest assets that you have in your estate. And what do you do when it comes time to retire, or let's say you pass away? What's going to happen to that business that you've built, your baby? What's going to happen? You need to start thinking about that now, no matter what stage your business is in, even if you're just getting started. And this is why. I'm going to tell you a personal story. My parents owned a funeral home, and it was in a small town. And I tell you, my dad's name was Ray Wilson, and people didn't think they could get to heaven without Ray Wilson taking care of them. It was a big business, for a little town. And they had one key employee. And my dad always just assumed that probably they'd figure out a way to sell to that key employee down the road. Or if people came in and wanted to buy the business, he always wanted to take care of that key employee. But then he'd say, oh, those outsiders, those out-of-towners, they don't understand our community and they aren't going to be a good fit to take over our business. Well, guess what happened? First thing is the key employee got a little restless and decided, you know what, I'm going to go open up my own funeral home. Pretty much broke my mother's heart, by the way. And then my mother became sick, very ill. She had Alzheimer's. And my dad was the primary caregiver. And there we were. I was actually back in my hometown trying to help keep the business doors open while my dad was taking care of my mother, and we had to put the business up for sale. The interesting thing is the funeral business is a very closely knit business, and everybody knew we had to get out. It was a fire sale. My parents' work for so many years, they did not see the value from the sale of that business. If anything, what it should have been had things been in a normal situation, or if they'd been able to sell on a timely basis. So think about your business. Do you want to pass it on to your children or your heirs? Are they even interested in the business? That's a tough thing because a lot of family-owned businesses that pass to the next generation, they fail. So you got to think about that. In fact, I wrote a book called Hanging On to the American Dream, and it was about a gentleman who built, believe it or not, back in the Depression, started a company manufacturing trouser creasers. Now, this was before permanent press fabrics, right? So women could hang trousers when they were doing the laundry, hang trousers on these hangers, and they would come out nice and straight, and you didn't have to iron them. What a big deal that was. Well, he grew the company to eventually become an international closet organizing company, and he sold it to Rubbermaid. Now, his son was working in the business, and his son was a really good salesperson, but he recognized his son didn't have the qualities it would take to be the CEO and run that business. Now, when he sold, he made sure that both of his children were well taken care of with trust. And then, by the way, just as an offshoot, he ended up giving all of his money away. Yeah, all to charity. Amazing story, amazing gentleman. I'm so lucky I had the opportunity to write his story, his book. Anyway, so my point is you need to plan what's going to happen. Even if you just want to retire and get out, you need to be paid the value of all that hard work and labor that you've put into growing that business. So it's National Make a Will Month. Make sure you're thinking about your exit strategy for your small business. And that's my tip for today. I'm Susan Solovic, the small business expert. Hey, if you have a question for me, you can follow me on Twitter or join me on Facebook, or just come to my website and send your question in. I will give you a shout out if I use your question. Thanks for watching. See you next time.